It's Yogi Sage here, and today I'm going to be talking about God. Now, before I talk about God, there's a few vocabulary words you should understand. The first being consciousness. Consciousness is just pure awareness. Unconsciousness means unawareness. It is compulsiveness. It is primitiveness by nature. Primitive means how your body, just look up the word primitive. It is reactionary to life. Consciousness is response like. So, consciousness, unconsciousness, and the word God. Because we're going to be talking about what is actually God. If God is a real thing, it must be observable. If it is not observable, in some kind of way, shape, or form, there's no possibility for science exploration, because the way that science is built today, science observes the observable. Spirituality is a non-observable science in general. But God is something that is very easily observable. I see God every day. God is in plain sight. God is everywhere. Now, I wrote some things down just so I can remember everything and not forget anything. God is everywhere, always watching. God knows thy heart in and out. The kingdom of God is within you. These are some things that we hear some religious people say. God is very synonymous with love. God is love. So what exactly is God? What could God be in this reality? Let me tell you what God is. God is just consciousness. Consciousness is the only answer because it matches with everything perfectly. Consciousness is the only force on this existence that is present everywhere. It's in the trees, animals, nature, planets, water, and even you. Yes, God is within you. That's how He knows your heart and everyone else's heart. That's how God is everywhere at the same time. Just think, the nature of creation is love. God or consciousness is in the creation itself. Without God or consciousness, creation will cease to exist. It's impossible. How is the nature of consciousness love? Just look at the existence. Look at the trees. They don't know how to be miserable. Trees know only one thing, and that is love and joy. Just like a dog, too. You have to do something bad to it, but other than that, it is just joy and love. Life is love. if love is God, then life is God. Life is creation and creator mixed. We seem to separate the two. That creation is one thing and creator is another thing. Now, I have a creation story that was the real creation story. After I'm done explaining what God is, I'm going to make a creation video. I've only told small amounts of people and small amounts of groups, but the creation story will make so much more sense when you realize that God is just consciousness. Right now, I'm going to explain why God is consciousness, how consciousness is love. The nature of your existence is love and joy. Every soul came onto this planet with a loving heart. Kids are just consciousness. There isn't much brain or body there. That is why kids are joyful and loving by nature. It is only after intelligence and memory and hormones and body starts to take over, then the people become less conscious. We see nasty things done, but go and ask somebody who did something nasty. Why did they do it? They'll say either they're just trying to be happy or it's done with the best intentions. When someone does what they believe is good intentions and what will make them happy, are they wrong? People's psychological reality, they get confused with their psychological reality and assume that this is the reality of things. See, right now, let's say this was a red piece of clothing. The only way you see red is if this absorbs every color except red. Because it reflects red. That's how we're able to see it. And we think it's red. Actually, it's every color except red. Human psychological process is separate from reality. In fact, if you're stuck in human psychological process, there is no way, there is no chance for you to understand the nature of existence at all. There is no way. Because your psychological process is only fit just for survival. It wasn't built to perceive such things. So when people do bad things, it's not because they're bad people. They truly believe what they're doing was a good thing. Go and ask Adolf Hitler, he will insist that he was doing the best thing for humanity and the planet. So people are born into this world joyful and happy. But once the programming, the schools, the media start impacting your being, these people become influenced and programmed in a way where their intelligence starts working against themselves. Now there is no more bliss and joy. My whole goal is to bring you back to the state of consciousness, to your original nature, just like a kid again. pure and genuine. God is simply consciousness. Consciousness has no beginning or end, cannot be created or destroyed. A religious person has never found or experienced God because they've already concluded that they already know what God is, so there's no reason for them to seek. But actually, God is in plain sight. It is in the trees, because the kingdom of God is not just within you, it's within every life. It is present everywhere. Consciousness is present everywhere. This is how God is knows your hearts, someone else's hearts, in and out. This is how God is one being but present everywhere simultaneously. It was shown to me beautifully one time. Imagine you were blowing bubbles, you know, and the bubbles, start filling up the room. The bubbles come in all different shapes and sizes. This is my bubble, that is your bubble. This is obvious that there's a difference between the bubble. But if this bubble and this bubble pops, we do not say this is my air and this is your air. It is our air. It is our life. It is our consciousness. There is only one God. So don't think that because everybody has the kingdom of God within themselves, this is a different source. This is the same source. Experiencing and expressing in a form of individuality. In this physical reality, we have a sense of individuality because of body. Consciousness is eternal love. It is because wherever there is consciousness, there is love, because that's the nature of consciousness. How is consciousness love? Eternal love? It's like I said, when you were born and there wasn't much brain and body, you were just consciousness. You haven't developed or gathered enough in this life to be anything else, and you were joyful. It is the same with every other species and life on this planet. Consciousness is love. Wherever there is consciousness, there is love. And this whole existence is love. One time climbed a mountain, and I was just at the top, and it was very below, there was a lot of trees. And I was just looking at all the trees. There was a slight wind, but as I was looking, I can see all the leaves and the branches slightly moving in the breeze. It genuinely looked like the trees were dancing and celebrating, and they were joyfully experiencing. I know that may sound crazy, but I spent a lot of time near trees, and just spend some time putting your hand on the tree, it will do wonders for you. Human beings are unique creatures on this planet. We have the ability to be much more conscious than any other creature on this planet, but this is the same reason why humans actually suffer more than any other creature on this planet. And it is not a contradiction. Human intelligence and the ability to use tools is what got us here today. The way we use our intelligence and tools is against our own well being because we conduct everything unconsciously, primitively, compulsive like, in reaction to the social media, school, internet, jobs, foods, everything on this planet is separating you from consciousness. Your favorite rapper. So now we live in a world full of unconscious people. Your mind only wants suffering for you. Consciousness is just wants bliss for you. When has your own mind made you happy? The reason for this is because mind is a your mind tries to preserve its body at whatever cost is necessary. It's a defense mechanism. Even if you don't like it, even if your mind is producing fear within your system or depression within your system or whatever within your system, it is doing so to either protect your body or for its survival needs. You, your mind will always find a way to take you away from happiness. The mind's whole job is to, for a lot of people on this planet, the mind's whole job is to literally torture you and ruin your experience of life. Mind is a very fabulous tool, but just look at everybody taking these prescription drugs and they need to take their drugs simply because they can't manage their mind. Simply because they can't manage their mind. This is the reason why antidepressants, anti-anxiety medicines, whatever. And it is so many people on this planet that are taking these kinds of medicines. Why the education systems never taught us how to manage our minds so we don't have to suffer and then go to the doctor to relieve our suffering. That is a whole nother topic, but even that is a business. The medical industry is a business. They get you sick first, so you come to them and give them money. And then when they give you these antibiotics or medicines, then you have side effects and you come to them again and give them even more money. My question is, why make the people sick in the first place with these bullshit foods, these acidic waters? It is such a cruel thing. They don't tell the patients to take probiotics if they take antibiotics. So then when they take the antibiotics, they experience stomach problems, skin problems, they begin developing other things that were worse than the original thing. But anyways, when has your mind made you happy. This is why people go on trying to extract joy from something or somebody else because they cannot find it within their own system. I'm here to tell you, you cannot find it outside either. You can try. You can own the whole entire world. You can have whatever you want. Still, you can just be a sack of misery. Just as humans can suffer more than any other creature on this planet, we can experience way more joy and love than any other creature. This is the free will. We can choose to be with the ego, the body, or God, the consciousness. Other life cannot choose. They are just compulsive. They're just a compulsive life with no choice or sharp intelligence. Body and mind dictates everything for every other creature. We can choose to listen to the mind or body. Animals cannot because they're too low on consciousness. Whatever the mind and body says, an animal reacts on it. Not even respond. We can respond to it. Animals have to react. The difference between response and react is, say somebody hits you. In half a second, you're already hitting them. That is reaction. Response is somebody hits you, and now, I guess hitting is not a good example because you should be in a state of reaction when you're getting hit. Let's say if somebody says something bad to you, reaction is you instantly say something bad back to them. Response is someone says something bad to you, and okay, you sit and think. Instead of saying something bad, you just say something, you say whatever you want back to them. Maybe it doesn't have to be bad or good. But if it's in reaction, people tend to work like mirrors. You're going to say something bad back to them. What you say, what you give to somebody else is what you're going to receive, like a mirror. This is the nature of people because this is the nature of the universe. The universe is like a mirror, law of attraction. There are fundamental laws in existence, that being another one being law of cause and effect. For every cause, for every action, there is an effect. Whether you notice it or not, there is always an effect. And for every effect that you have in your life, there was a cause. Even if you don't notice the cause or you can't identify the cause, there is a cause. Like this, law of attraction is another law, but many people kind of confuse this with like magic or whatever. People say a lot of different things about law of attraction, so I'm not going to go into that. I'm just gonna try to stay on topic. And it is because we have a higher consciousness we can experience more love. Bliss and joy. Humans can be really loving to nature and life. I hope you know. While a lion has little to no choice. If a lion's mind says kill, then the compulsion takes over, it will kill. Human beings can tame the untamable. There can be beasts, and we can just be petting them and bonding with them. There's been examples of dogs and bears doing the same thing. But this is an ability that all human beings can have. Become in sync with nature like this. But this existence works in dualities. Masculine, feminine consciousness. To have an unconscious, there must be a consciousness. To have a physical world, there must be a non physical, yin yang. It is impossible for there to just be a physical world and not have a non physical world. Because this world, this existence, works in dualities, hands down. An important thing to note about consciousness and unconsciousness. I have already said that consciousness is God. I forgot that the scientific research is, they're not far ahead when it comes to things like this. One example of that being is the science of the paranormal, which I'm going to make a video about. But the paranormal is a scientifical thing. It's a scientifical process. But anyways, scientists like to believe that consciousness is in the brain. No. Consciousness is not physical. It is purely non-physical. In fact, it may not even be physical or non-physical. It might reside in another dimension of existence. But for argument's sake, we're going to say that it's non-physical. How? See, I want you to understand that there's two forms of intelligence within you, as you will have a physical intelligence and a non-physical intelligence. Intelligence exists outside the physical world. Your body has mental alertness. Mental alertness is you're looking around the room for any threats, or you're constantly dissecting things around the room. You're coming up with these things. This is mental alertness. This is a physiological happening. This is your brain's doing. This is the brain. Consciousness is just pure awareness. But awareness exists in the non physical. In fact, that's its origins. Because if you look at a spirit, they are aware. They have an awareness. If you look at a god, an angel, whatever, they have some kind of awareness. They have a consciousness. They can, or they are aware of what we are doing on earth. They're not just accidentally living, they have an awareness of their own. In fact, we're the ones that don't have an awareness and are accidentally living life, doing the same things, falling in these same cycles. Consciousness has to be non-physical because awareness exists in the non-physical. I shouldn't even have to dwell more into this topic, but to expand consciousness also comes with knowing great pain sometimes. It is the only way to know great love. A tree must dig its roots deep into the dark, cold ground in order for the leaves and branches to grow tall and touch the stars, and even to grow into space. The deeper the roots, the taller it will grow. The same is true with consciousness. The more you've come to know what pain and all these things is, the more love you can experience. And this is why human beings can suffer more than any other animal, but can experience much more love than any other animal. It is because our consciousness is more expanded. See, animals' consciousness are, they have a little, they're conscious, a little bit, but not as much as human beings. So there's a limit to how much they can suffer and how much bliss they can experience. Humans, on the other hand, have a wider range. We're the most suffering species on this planet, hands down. So we can suffer more than any other animal. We know this. But we can experience much more love than any other animal. In fact, I'm here to tell you today, you can experience just as much love as the God itself. You can be just as loving as the God itself. And you are capable of this because you have the kingdom of God within you. You have the God consciousness. So you can experience the same amount of love that God is. Actually, you are capable. The only problem is, if this happens, you have to drop your body because your body cannot sustain it. It's too much. It's too much power. You just pop right out. I know this because this almost happened to me. So when this happens, when you experience the max level of love, when I say max level of love, that is, God can't even experience more love than that. You're at the max level of love. That is when you reunite. You can, that is when the possibility of reuniting with the source of consciousness, the source, the God, that can happen. But that's one way. So, back to what I was saying, the roots dig deep, tree grows tall. In other words, to expand conscious love, one must dwell into the unconscious pain and bring that to awareness or consciousness. This is how you can expand consciousness, right there. What I just said. When you dwell into the unconscious and you make that aware, and that's a part of your consciousness, now your awareness expands. There's more things you're able to grasp within your own experience. Because we are conscious, we can experience much more pain than any other creature. Or suffering is a better word. Because there is awareness. That is the only reason why, if you've noticed, why we can suffer more. Suppose you had something happen to you. Maybe you got sick. If you're an animal, you have no idea what's happening. It's not going to be a great time, but it's whatever. But because you're a human, and there's these names for these certain things, and you know what it does to the body, and your imagination starts running wild. Now you're in great fear. Now you're suffering the pain 2 times even more, simply because you just have more awareness on what is happening. If an animal gets COVID, it is just simply just trying to survive. If a human gets COVID, We know what it does to the body, the whole world is in shambles. But on the flip note, we can experience much more love than they can. And this is how consciousness works. Because again, we're aware of the process of love and how great and how powerful it is. People might say I'm a guru. Gu in Sanskrit means darkness. Ru means dispel. A guru is a darkness dispeller. To be a guru, one must have brought darkness to awareness, brought darkness to light. Otherwise, how would they know how to dispel it? There is no darkness or unawareness in me. Everything is lit up with torches and candles. I can see clearly. Some might say the third eye has awakened. So, what is heaven and hell? Is your consciousness in the light? Then eternal bliss. If you are unconscious, then is eternal hell and pain. Heaven and hell is within you, just like how you are the God and the devil, actually. The body is the beast, and God is the consciousness. What do I mean? Mark of the beast is 666. We are carbon beings. You know what this means? Carbon is the very nature of you and I's existence. Carbon is made up of what carbon is 6 neurons, 6 protons, 6 electrons. 666. We are the beasts on this planet. Don't you get it yet? Literally, the beast is imprinted on us. You can either take it and become a part of, identify as the body, and anyways, the kingdom of God is within you. That's already a given. The God is within you. But no one has ever told you that the devil is within you as well. Lust, food, violence, all these temptations are your own body's doing. It is the devil's doing, technically. Because all these things are intrinsic functions of your body. Yes or no? It is not the devil telling you to have sex with somebody. That is your own biological process. That is your own biology. That's your own physiological. It is natural. It is the natural process of life. It is only your body that wants sex, your body wants food, your mind generates these thoughts. Tell me, does your consciousness care for such things? Your consciousness is non physical, remember. What use is sex and food for your consciousness? The you, the real you. The real you does not give a damn about any of these things because it has no use for it. It is completely non physical. What is it going to do with food? It is your body that wants these things, but you're living within the body. Religious people try to make you believe that it is a Satan, it is something else putting these thoughts in you. Look at any other creature on this planet. They need to reproduce, they need to eat. But it's evil when human beings need to reproduce and when humans. It is only bad if humans reproduce. So, I mean, I can actually agree with that. Because we're just creating more and more idiots nowadays, you know? But it is not that something else is. It's not that there's this evil force trying to get you to do something. These are your biological happenings. It happens in cycles. There's nothing bad about it. In fact, in Sanskrit, the word devil, the root of that word is deva. Deva in Sanskrit means divine. So don't mistaken the devil, the body, nature, life as a bad thing. And again, if you hear the creation story, the real creation story, then this will make a lot more sense. But I'm not going to dwell into what I was about to dwell into because you need to know the real creation story before I can speak more onto this kind of thing. But again, your consciousness is non-physical. What use is sex and food for a consciousness is what I'm asking. If you go ahead, let's say somebody tragically passes away. I'm not wishing it on anybody, but there's no more body. You think the soul, the real them, the consciousness is like, ah, damn, like I want, like I could go for some McDonald's right now. No. This is a living experience for me. I'm not just saying these things. The real you really does not care about these things. That is why I'm trying to bring you back to your original nature, the real you. I'm trying to just open a door for you so you can find yourself once again. Because people are caught and lost in the mask that they wear and project this mask that they wear onto other. We live in such an inauthentic world. Nobody can just be themselves because the systems are designed like this. You honestly cannot just be yourself. Otherwise, how are you going to survive in this world? If you go to a job interview and you be authentic about how you really are and who you are, they're not going to accept you. People, this is another. I keep getting sidetracked. So again, your body is the devil. Religion makes you believe that Satan is in hell and putting all these desires in you. Hell no, it's your own body's nature. Nature designed the body and mind like this. How can one devil be everywhere, tempting everyone at the same time? The devil is simply the unconsciousness. That too is also everywhere at the same time and within everyone simultaneously at the same time. Yes or no? Because the body is also unconscious. Unconsciousness means compulsiveness, bodies on autopilot mode, unawareness. This is the devil, and this is the whole cause of humanity's problems right now. There is no God. There is no consciousness. Everything is done primitively still. We're done evolving physiologically, sure, I'm not talking about evolution where you had it once you had a tail and then it fell off. I'm talking about your conscious evolution. We are not done our evolution yet. We still need to evolve from unconsciousness to consciousness. The evolution of consciousness, we still have a little ways to go. We could be completely finished and at the peak of our evolution of consciousness right now, if only the education systems would show methods and ways to teach people how to become more conscious, but it hasn't. So we've been walking backwards. We have been walking backwards and backwards and backwards with our evolution of consciousness. We've been becoming more unconscious, actually. We've been becoming more like animals. More sex, more violence, more food, more compulsive, more primitive, more violence. We're becoming more animal like because an animal is easy to control. Only an animal you can tame and keep them in the zoo and just give them food. The people that run this world want to turn us into animals so they can control us. You cannot manipulate a conscious mind. You cannot control a conscious person because in consciousness there is power. Because love is the ultimate power. When we're caught up in our cycles and we're too worried about these things that don't matter, like sex and food, it is easy to control us. That is the whole agenda. Only sheeps, you can make them do whatever you want in a flock and have them work for you because they're animals, they're unconscious. Their whole goal is trying to make us like animals again. This is what these people that run the world, either knowingly or unknowingly, regardless, it doesn't matter. This is what they're doing, and this is what's happening, and this is the outcome. If you do not become conscious, you will never escape the devil. Again, over and over, some men will, even women too, will go on websites and do inappropriate things because, believe it or not, pornography is a very huge problem in the United States and all around. I think it's like 70% of the internet is just pornographic. When you're unconscious and stuck in these cycles that you're unaware of course you're going to do it again and again and again. Again, you will eat bad foods. Again, you will take drugs. These are all the temptations of the devil, right? The temptations of the devil, or is it your body? They're the same thing. You can never escape the devil as long as you remain unconscious. You have to become conscious, love, aware. Then you can escape the devil. In unconsciousness, you're away from God. You cannot escape the devil. The devil is just the unconsciousness of God, actually. Now, this is another thing. I've had a few experiences I'm not going to dwell into right now. This video is basically what is God. I'm going to make another video on basically I'm just gonna make another video on God. But in that video, I explain it in an unobservable way. This way I'm talking about right now is an observable way. The other video is more unobservable, but still you can get some things from it. But it is based off my experience, but still, if you go ahead and watch that video, then what I'm about to say is gonna make some sense. But God has an unconsciousness. There is a collective unconsciousness. This is what people don't understand. There's a whole collective consciousness. There's a whole collective unconsciousness. We can say this is heaven, hell, God, devil. But God and the devil are really two sides to the same coin. But since it is God's unawareness, even God is not aware. Even God does not have, is not 100% aware in this dimension. In this dimension, God is not 100% aware. We live in the time dimension. The guide here is the universe itself. This is like the physical body of God. It's in this dimension that we're in with the universe, the physical, where God is not completely conscious. God has an unconsciousness in this dimension. In the timeless dimension, so we're talking about a higher dimension. See, right now we are on the third dimension. If you go up around the fifth dimension, time is no more. Right? This is where the 100% conscious God is. Now, don't mistake it is still one God. It's just they're both in different dimensions. Kind of like you. How this body is a third dimensional thing, but your consciousness, your soul, and your spirit, it is a non physical thing. It belongs to a higher dimension. You came down from a higher dimension to come into this. So the universe is pretty much the physical manifestation of God, while in the higher dimension, that's where the 100% conscious God is. And the conscious God kind of coats inside of the universe. Just like you. Just like how you have a body, and the body coats over your consciousness that is within you. The universe is like the body, and the universe has these universal laws, these, and the 100% non-physical, 100% just light consciousness God is inside the universe. And you know what is crazy? In this dimension, 99% of existence is darkness. because this is the dimension of un in this dimension there's a lot of unawareness. Even though the physical God and the non-physical God, these are the same, just it's still one God. One is light, one is dark. When people pass away or something, you often hear they see the lights. In this universe, you go into the universe, what do you see? It's just darkness. Because this existence is still in the dark. It is not conscious yet. It is not 100% conscious yet. In fact, I would argue the God in the Bible was a dictator, a slave master. If it wasn't if it wasn't for the devil, who knows how long we would be in the garden obeying God's commands. I'm just joking, but for real though, you gotta think for a second actually about this. You can say human intelligence or human mind is the devil, right? Replace devil with human intelligence in this next paragraph. It was the devil that set us free. It was the devil that gave us choice. And more importantly, it was the devil that gave humans knowledge to be free, the fruit of knowledge. The fruit of knowledge is actually caught, evident historically. Don't think that the devil is evil. Evils do exist, but the devil is really just the body of Adam and the body of Eve. It was nothing external. Because the way that things were written at that time, it was not meant to be looked at as literally. It may try to, it may like show that there was a serpent that would try to deceive them, but really it was just two intelligence conflicting within themselves, which makes it seem like something came from like somewhere else, but really it was just themselves. For example, I'm not even gonna dwell into that to be honest. But there is a lot of knowledge that did pass down. But until someone can explain to me how the pyramids in Egypt were built, just look at life. We can't even build the pyramids today, but we had the knowledge to build them that long ago. And we knew all the astrological and we knew the position of the stars. Where did this knowledge from humanity come from? It came from God, consciousness, awareness. A lot of yogis or mystics or gurus, they tend to have profound knowledge and wisdom. But a lot of people don't understand where they get this information from. This is a whole nother video or topic in of itself, but there if you build your body in such a way, if you build your mind and structure yourself in a certain way, you can become receptive and receive certain information. almost like a radio transmitter. How the frequencies come to the radio box, and you know how that works. It processes the frequencies, and it's basically just downloading information from not the I'm not right now I'm not talking about the radio anymore, but in the human sense, it would be from the non-physical world. There could be certain entities or spirits, angels, you can aliens, you can extract a lot of information this way. If you learn how to astral project, you can leave your body. When you leave your body, there's so much things in the non-physical. You can gather such knowledge and immense wisdom that you can then bring back to the body, which can be hard sometimes. This was a very, very brief explanation, but it is very possible that humans are able to gain this knowledge because, after all, we were much more conscious back then than what we are now. Yes, people underestimate how intelligent and how aware we were back then. We were definitely more intelligent and aware back then than what we are now. We can't even do anything anymore as humans, like, honestly. But the pyramids are proof that humans ate from the tree of knowledge or the fruit of knowledge. We have something so beautiful at our hands, but why are we using our knowledge, our evolution, our technology against ourselves? There is no consciousness anymore. It is just we let unconsciousness take over. We let the devil take over. It is not the devil's fault we can't handle this power given to us, nor is it God's fault. It is our fault that we simply just cannot manage this gift of knowledge and power. It is our fault. We need to stop blaming other things. Knowledge is not a bad thing. What happened was actually a very beautiful thing. The only problem is we handled it so wrongly. Some might say because we weren't ready. Other people have their own, you know, things. But don't think that this was a bad thing. This was, we have such beautiful things at our fingertips. The knowledge, the technology, the wisdom, the knowledge, the tools, the intelligence, the skills, the tools we've built. Could you imagine life without any of these things? That's how you'd be without the devil. It is because of the devil. That's the only, because the devil is what? Human intelligence, human mind. And we came up with all these things. But we're not able to use it in a civilized manner yet. Simply because we we've been going backwards in consciousness. Even back then, we weren't at the max level of consciousness. We were more consciousness we were more conscious back then than we are now. But still, we weren't at the max level of consciousness back then. Everyone has it all wrong when speaking on the biblical version of the devil. The devil is also simply nature itself. Devil is unconsciousness, intrinsic body intelligence to do things on autopilot mode, compulsiveness. The creation story would make so much more sense now. I'm not gonna explain it right now, but there was two conflicting sides within the source of consciousness itself. So I'm just giving a very, very brief explanation. Take this with a grain of salt. But when God was just, it was literally just completely one. It was just awareness. God was just, there was nothing else except God. It was just God in existence. Because awareness is literally neither created or destroyed. Awareness literally just pops up out of nowhere. It is the only thing in existence that can do that. Tell me, why does your awareness amp up and come down? It's not because of. You can say it is your body, but once you leave your body, still you'll find sometimes your awareness expands and it decreases. Even when you're outside your body, it does this. Maybe I need to explore the science of the non physical, figure out how things are working in the non physical, but for now, awareness seems to just be a phenomenon. But, anyways, there's two conflicting sides, and this caused a friction within the source of consciousness itself. And then an explosion of creativity happened. Instead of a bang, it was more like a roar, an expansion. And this would give birth to planets, stars, galaxies, solar systems, and nature, and even you. This was the birth of the devil, the unconsciousness, the universe. So the 100% light conscious God is still in the non physical, while the devil blew away from God. It created its own thing, its own life. And the reason was simply because it wanted to rebel. The God, the consciousness just wanted to be. That's it. Just wanted to be still. While the other conflicting side realized there's so much possibility to learn yourself, to grow, to experience, to create. So that is what happened. And because of this explosion, we're still trying to figure each other. We're still trying to figure ourselves out. The God is still trying to figure itself out. That is why there's unconsciousness. That's why unconsciousness exists. In this realm, in this dimension. We're still trying to figure out what we created and what we're doing, and, like, what happens, though. So now the two gods I explained make a little bit more sense, how the universe is just the body. But still, there's still qualities and functions to it. And then we have the 100% light and just 100% conscious God in a timeless dimension. It's starting to make sense? Then we have the creation story. I mean, I didn't, trust me, I didn't, if I really wanted to explain the creation story, I have to make another video. Okay, don't take this creation story like literally, because I can do a much better job, more in depth, more in detail. This was just, there was no explanation. I didn't give anything, so but the 100% conscious God is the all knowing because it is conscious. It is all loving. It is all loving because it is completely conscious. Consciousness is love. It is all seeing because it is light. The universe is darkness. Still, it is just one God, but like I said earlier, it's literally just like you. You are built in God's image exactly like this, actually. Just as God has a spirit body and it has a physical body, the universe, you have a physical body and you have a spirit body. The Father, okay, first, the Son is you because you're just an extension of the one consciousness. Remember the example I gave with the blowing the bubbles? The Father is the universe. The Holy Spirit is the 100% conscious guide in the timeless dimension. So Son is technically human beings, I guess, or just life on this planet, maybe even other planets as well. Father is the universe, and Holy Spirit is the non-physical, 100% conscious God. The main thing here is God is consciousness. It is love. It is light. It is all knowing. And it is all around. And it is within you. Devil is your own body and mind. It is suffering, unconsciousness, darkness. It is all around and within you as well. The kingdom of God is within you. But no one ever said the devil is also within you. Your body is the devil, or nature itself, rather. This whole world is made to make you unconscious. I'm here to break this cycle for you. By at least giving you some knowledge and some tools that you can work with. But that's going to be it for today's video. So, and just for the record, I did speak about some real things. If something happens to me, or if I die, just know it's bullshit. I got assassinated. Ain't no way. I'm just saying this because I did say some things. But regardless, for the record, I would never do anything to myself. I would never kill myself. I'm not in conflict with anybody. If I die, then that's something you should really look into. I'm just saying this for almost as an insurance thing, you know? I'm using this video as insurance right now. So if something happens, then it's not going to be a conspiracy. Because when people like X died, X knew it was coming. He was speaking on a lot of things. He knew it was coming. When Osho died, when Juice, or when somebody else dies. Andrew Tate, for example, he's in jail right now. People really think it's a conspiracy theory that they just accidentally ended up in jail. You really think it's all, why is it all the people that speak truth just all of a sudden end up in jail? And it is all the same thing. It is always a sexual charge when it comes to jail. X was XXX Tentacion, what was it, like rape or something, or like domestic like violence? It always has something to do with that's the kind of charge they put. It has something to do with the woman. Because if something happens to a woman, the whole media is going to, because women are delicate little creatures, or that's how we perceive. That's like the, what is it? What's that word? The stereotype. It is always like a charge. Andrew Tate has on woman charges right now. That's what they do. So I'm saying this right now. But anyways, that's gonna do it for today's video. I'll see y'all in the next one.